What is going on, everybody? It's Reviews with Rich, back with Reviews with Rich Live, episode 4, where tonight we're going to be discussing the breaking news of what's happened with Aquaman 2 and the whole behind-the-scenes Amber Heard and Jason Momoa stuff, including randomly Elon Musk for some reason. But we'll be discussing the week's news, Heat 2 being confirmed, Spielberg and Tom Hanks's new TV show, Masters of the Air, Kevin Costner's dream project, Horizon, and our thoughts on Star Wars Ahsoka on Disney Plus. So this is going to be a spicy one, I think, because we're going to have very different opinions. And also, you guys out there as well, if you have opinions about Ahsoka, not right now, don't bring them in now, but start talking about it when we do and start letting us know what you think, because we're all going to have very different opinions on that show. Kind of glad to see back of it, to be honest with you. So again, as always, I am joined by two really good buddies of mine, and they are the recently hit with the vid. Peter.
You all right?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Like you say, I've got the COVID, but you know I'm doped up on all kinds of medications because I didn't want to miss tonight. So looking for.
Thank you,
I just want to talk Ahsoka and get that off our chests. Do you know what I mean? Because it's going to be interesting. It's going to be juicy. Yeah,
it's going to be. Well, it gives a bit of a tease for the people to stay on with us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be there's been some new stuff that's hit the airways, as it were, with what's happened with the Aquaman 2 and some things kicking off there, which are quite interesting as well. So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. I was putting the notes together for the show early today, and I was like, ooh, scraping the barrel. And then suddenly all this stuff happens. I'm not getting. So we've got Ian with a newly poured Guinness. How you doing, buddy? Show us that head.
It's only a small. There you go. Look, beautifully poured.
Beautifully poured.
Yeah.
That's it. Good work. She does a good job.
It's only 9 o'clock. I could have made another remark.
Spotting
it's been a long day.
As it another really cool T-shirt. What you rocking today?
This one. So this is. Hey, what better mix? Bruce Lee and music, right? So I don't know if you've seen this. Robert Downey Jr. also had.
Yeah.
Years ago. So I've got quite a few of these. So yeah, Bruce Lee's one of my heroes. So
of course,
very cool.
Of course, that's awesome. Great, thank you, fellas, for being here. It's always a bloody pleasure to hang out with you guys on a Tuesday evening. Just quickly say hello to the chat. James. Dream Team are back. My brother James is going to be joining us at some point before Christmas. We need to get him on. I think it'd be an absolute joy. I think about doing a film club as well for something. 2 films that are both very close to our hearts that we might get him on that one, because I think he'll. I think you'll appreciate it. Fuzzy Dunlop says, "Evening, gents. Hey, buddy." Phil says, "Hello to the awesome panel and fantastic chat." My wife Katie says, "Hey, hubby, hey," and then not sure.
Oh, that's
the whitest head.
That's harsh. Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Oof.
I'm not sure.
Phil, me and you're falling out, boy.
I caught a bit of the old Welsh tones there as well from Phil yesterday. I saw him on Shane's show. That was nice. Good to see Phil on that. It's the first time I've caught him on there, so I have to get him on one day. James says, "Can't wait to join you guys." Yeah, man, it'd be amazing. My brother's over in a couple of weeks. I'll be seeing him for one day, and then he's over again around Christmas time. So we might do in person live.
Wow.
So that could be quite good. Hope you weren't too offended by the Welsh accent there, Phil. But I just wanted to say hello, and it's good to put a face to a name as well. But shall we just get cracking?
Yeah.
You both had a good week, apart from getting COVID. You had a good week.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Okay, good. We got to talk some DC bullshit, basically. What's happened? So, for everyone who doesn't know, there's been a bit of drama behind the scenes with Act 2. So how this has come about, basically, I don't get how that's really happened, but basically these therapy notes from Amber Heard leaked online, and then they've been confirmed by a number of different sources as correct. That these were stuff that they basically, long story short, you know the trial that was happening between her and Johnny Depp. He paid for them to get these notes, and then they did online. And it, essentially, oh, my mic's dropping out. Is that okay? Can you hear me? Okay.
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. It's because I was too far away from it, I think. Thank you for letting me know. So essentially, what's happened is there's been loads of drama been kicking off. One of the bits, which is so random, because obviously it was happening with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they were looking to eventually move her away from doing the second one. And randomly, Elon Musk, who was going out with her at the time, basically threatened WB, Warner Brothers. He basically said, if you fire her, I'm just going to burn down your studio with all my lawyers and everything that's got behind him. So it's just been drama after drama after drama with this one. Have you guys seen this? I mean, I know there's little things like he dressed like Jason Momoa dressed like Johnny Depp. He dresses like that anyway. He has lots of rings. He's got the hair. He's got the boho kind of styling. It's just all that can happen. There's things with their chemistry. It was never really good anyway, I thought. Yeah. And that was one of the things that kind of the powers in WB basically said, we're not feeling it anyway. Obviously, they've used that as an excuse because everything was happening with the Johnny Depp situation. And also as well, what's really interesting in this is there's something here which hasn't been really touched upon massively. I just wanted to quickly show you it. There are rumors that with David Zaslav and different people coming on and within Warner Brothers, that they were essentially getting it in a good state by bringing in James Gunn and Peter Safran and all this kind of stuff like that, getting into a good state for them to eventually sell it, to just get it out the door and just make a sweet, sweet profit, and everyone rides off into sunset. There's been something here, which is one of the things I think I'm trying to get on here. There's one bit where basically said that they're trying to get it to, regardless of some of the lot are convinced that another company, more than likely Universal, will buy Warner Brothers within 2 years, making recent DC subplots and upheaval feel quaint. AKA, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that, besides all the stuff with James Gunn and all that kind of stuff like that. Obviously, as well, there's been rumors about him, Jason Momoa, being Lobo. Apparently, he's going to be Lobo for Superman Legacy. So that's in this article as well. This is from Variety, so it's not just like Tim Pot one. It's like a really reputable source. So you guys have read this. What do you think to it?
Well,
it's layered for me because I'm not getting too one-sided on something for me, but I'm a big Johnny Depp fan. So for many reasons, and their relationship was so toxic, right? So I side on one thing. I'm not a fan of Amber. No offense to anybody out there who is. It is what it is. But I found it funny when he came on set drunk, acting like Johnny Depp because he didn't like. And I think we all know at the time he was siding with Johnny Depp because he made some comments, but it was kind of tempered. So I find that quite funny that he'd done that. I probably would have just hired a bed, lay on the bed, and there'd be like a poo bag or something there, just take it a bit further, But,
well, I mean, Jason Momoa does like a drink. I mean, there were rumors when they were filming Justice League that he'd rocked up like absolutely pissed out his tree, and but he just, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen. There's one where it's kind of like, it's like Men's Health or Men's Fitness, where they interview and they go, oh, let's have a look at your fridge and what's your training like and all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely insane. He's just walking around with his shirt off, down in loads of Guinness, just wandering around. It's like, bloody hell, he's a bit of a... Yeah, exactly.
Him and Ian have got a lot in common.
I'm going to say,
they've got a lot in common.
Apart from the size.
Size, stature, hair.
I used to have long black hair.
I mean, I find this entire thing. I mean, there are a few things to it. That first of all, I completely agree with Fuzzy in the comments there. If this is really her therapy kind of report, that's atrocious for it to get out like that. That really is awful. The Jason Momoa stuff is just hilarious. You can see him doing that. You can see him rocking up and taking the mic. The thing that winds us up most, and I'll be shot here, I'm sure, by some people, is Elon friggin' Musk. I know the man is a genius. I know he's a billion, trillion, millionaire, whatever. But God, he gets right on my tripe. With this kind of threats left, right and centre about how big he is and he's going to destroy this one. And his answer constantly just seems to be to chuck money at stuff and bully people into doing whatever he wants, really. So side of things, I think he
was flexing a bit for the puss. Let's be fair.
Thanks for that.
Our time is just right. He was getting some Amber Primo, and obviously she was worried she was going to lose his job. He thought he'd have to put his hand in his pocket a bit more, and he's like, "Oh, let's get the lawyers involved in this." Maybe this is all speculation, but this is what's come from Variety though, so it's not like it's like I said, it's just a random gossip thing. Ian, sorry, you're going to say. I just had to say that when he was taking a drink. That's all.
Yeah, no, I thought, right, so they're not dating anymore, right? They stopped, but they're maybe friends. So the friends. So it makes me think, what has she got on him?
Yeah.
Because you think about what he's involved in, the simplest things on the stock market can take shares down, the silliest things in some cases. I just found that bizarre, apart from, of course, like many people in his position, it's narcissism.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was weird that him getting involved at that stage, but he was involved in some comments on the legal aspects, wasn't he? So
I think he was. I think he was going to testify at one point, and then he pulled out. And anyway, that's all the legal kind of behind the scenes stuff on that one.
The stuff about them potentially selling DC, I have to say, and at this stage, I don't know if I even care anymore, and that's awful to say because I love DC Comics. Do you know what I mean? But it would be awful if we just got James Gunn's foot in the door and we just started to see some good stuff coming out, and then we'll get another shake-up and another reset. That wouldn't be good. But
well, it just takes one flop for them just to panic, which is what's happened in the past. But I mean, like one of my brother's favorite studio in Hollywood that's got so much history is Warner Brothers. It's got so much amazing content. Obviously, Clint Eastwood's got such a tie-in with those guys, and they've done such amazing quality stuff in over the years. And it's just so sad to see that another company will buy another company, and then because there were rumors that Apple were going to buy Disney as well. For a long time. I don't know if that's still happening, but there's all this stuff happening at the minute where I think it's just going to get to a point where there's going to be 2 or 3 big companies that's just going to own all the different studios, and then from that there'll be the cookie cutter kind of approach with everything.
Disney buying Warner Brothers would be interesting. I know that was floated a good 10 years or so ago because you could get all kinds of crossover events and things. Purely thinking from a comic book geek perspective, DC versus Marvel, that would be incredible.
Well, I think even if they had someone like if they did have like Feige and he just ended up going from Marvel straight over to DC, and then he basically, if they owned it, he could then do what he did for them. Could have been interesting, but I think that one buying it just for that one film might be a bit over the top, though.
I wouldn't want to see that all under one umbrella at all. You need challenging, and Disney's not had the best track record lately. So
I was going to say, here you go, and then Vogt will buy them all. That's a The Boys reference, everybody.
I've just watched the first episode of the new series.
Is it good?
I got 3/4. Well, I mean, I've 3/4 of the way through, and I have to say, I was like, what the hell is... There's one scene, which I'll not spoil, but Ian will know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I already know.
A little lady. Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to basically have I start my new job next week, so I'm going to have a day of just catching up with stuff before I start that. So that's going to be on my list as well. So I'll let you know. I have started Continental. I'm enjoying that so far. That's really good.
The 3 episodes yesterday.
I just finished the Beckham documentary. Now, I've never been that bothered about football, but that was fantastic. Me and the missus absolutely loved it. It's really, really good. And do you watch Succession? Do you watch that? No, there's a guy on that who basically directs it, and he's Hugo from that. He directed it, and it's just an amazing job. They did such an amazing job on that story, and it could have been a film. Just fantastic, and he comes across really, really well. So I recommend that. But yeah, and I've just started Loki as well. The first episode of that one. That's pretty good so far.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm enjoying that so far.
I was confused, mate, but it was good. I enjoyed the confusion. You know.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It's well made, very well made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm finding it hard because I feel disengaged a little bit from it, but it was okay. But I feel a little bit numb, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I saw, it was fine. I don't feel pulled in with this overall story. I'm fed up of this multiverse. They've just made an arse of it.
Yeah. Well put. They have. Yeah.
I agree. Continental was interesting, mate. Sorry if we're derailing you, Rich.
No. Carry on.
I mean, I know, Ian, you'd said that you enjoyed the first episode, but I heard a lot of negativity about the Continental. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it's not John Wick, but actually some of the action in it. The last episode, Jesus.
Really?
The fighting is tremendous. And I like the fact that each episode's an hour and a half, I think. So it's like you're watching a movie. You know, I really enjoyed it.
I've just got to the bit where she's gone over to the hotel, and then the policeman just pull in front of her and is like, "Nope, come on, you're not allowed in there," like that kind of thing. So it's only early. I think about 25 minutes in. I think so. I'm early days still. Ian, what are you going to say?
Yeah, I like how it's styled. I like the design. I want it to be John Wick without it being John Wick, and I think it's kind of touched on that. I know that sounds cryptic, but it lays the foundation. I want to see more. I really like the idea of this John Wick world building. Me and Lucy really enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Every now and then as well, I don't know if you were the same, Ian, but the young lad, because everyone's young to me now, the young lad who plays Winston, every now and then I could almost hear Ian McShane, in the way he phrased things, and the way, I don't know if that was on purpose, that he was trying to model his speech pattern to sound similar to him, but sometimes it really kind of felt, he's got that twang.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
That's great. Well, I was at the storage unit. I've got a storage unit, and I was sorting through some stuff, and I found this. We're talking about John Wick and Continental.
Oh wow!
So this is one of the coins, official coins.
Oh yeah.
I got sent this by Lionsgate. This was when John Wick 3 came out. I entered like a competition. You kind of like you put an answer to a question, and they sent me the official poster, which was really nice, which is him behind, I think, the Continental front of the door, which is covered in rain, and you could just see John Wick behind it. And then they sent me 2 of these coins, and this one, I thought they only sent me the one, and I found it behind the poster, and it's just random. Like, it came up, I was like, I forgot to mention this because it's really, really nice. It's proper coin. It's not like it's chocolate or anything. It's really, really nice. So it'd be worth some as well. So
not gonna lie, Rich, I'm disappointed. I was hoping for a chocolate. I thought that would be nice.
Few years old, it was white as. So just thought it was like a random little thing to mention that.
Now you see, this is my problem, because now you've shown us that I need one, so I'm going to have to jump on eBay after this, because I think that would be a very cool thing to have in your collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't got a John Wick figure. So
well, there's Sideshow
wait,
did.
wait a minute. Have you not got a John Wick figure?
I haven't, mate. No, I haven't. I know. Oh, yeah.
He'll be doing the COVID purchase.
Yeah.
I mean, just a second, guys. I'm just gonna.
Such a great show, like a graphic novel. Yeah, I found it to be very graphic novel-esque, how it was shot and everything. But yeah, I've actually got 2 of these, Peter. So we'll talk.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I need to get a cool figure. I like. I had the first one, not to be 116 talk, but before I forget, there's one thing I want to mention to everybody. So I forgot to mention this at the top of this thing. For everyone, I mentioned this last week. I did previously a Toy Fair vlog. Really enjoyed doing that and had a lot of nice feedback and stuff. And then I did the McFarlane Batmobile. I think personally, that's the last toy thing I review.
Really?
Yeah, I think I've done the toy thing. I think I want to focus more on stuff like this, my vlogs, and my film talk stuff, because I think that's where my real passion is.
Yeah.
So I'd be quite interested to see if everyone, obviously in the chat or who are watching the replay, what they think to that. No disrespect to anybody out there who does it, including yourself, Peter, but for me, it's just kind of like, kind of done it. Here's the box. Here's this. Here's this. And I'm kind of like, I don't want to do that much longer. So I think to focus more on the film stuff, and I think that's more relevant. So I just thought I'd mention that one. Also, something what I found, which I thought was quite interesting. This came from a hot toy, from the Man of Steel hot toy, but I got this from my. I don't know if you can see it. It's too small.
Oh, yeah.
This is the command key.
Yeah.
From Man of Steel, which is really cool. It is focusing, actually. I'm quite impressed with it, actually. So I found that, and that's really, really nice. So I think when I had my Superman displayed again, I think I'm going to have that next to him. So I'm having a couple of things like that as well. Nothing wrong with that review, Rich. The Batmobile looked amazing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's not so much the. I thought the review was okay, but I think maybe I'm leaning more towards the film stuff and things like that. More
do what you're passionate about. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean? Do what you enjoy doing.
And I love doing these vlogs.
Yeah.
Randomly, I love doing the vlogs, and I love just getting out there and interacting with people. And I've got something coming up in a couple of weeks' time, which I think would be really good to do, and things like that. So I think we'll see how I get on. It might change. I might change my mind, but it's just I just thought I'd mention that to people who are subscribers or are watching my channel and stuff. But let's get back to film news. SAG-AFTRA, basically, sounds like they're wrapping up the negotiations, and they are going to be hopefully making an announcement by the end of this week. They're going back to the negotiation table on Wednesday, which would be really nice tomorrow. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got a bit of something where they get things moving again, because we're going to get a lot of announcements, as in terms of who's what, who's this, who's Mr. Fantastic, who's Fantastic Four, and all that kind of stuff like that. Because all of that, the director's even said he's the director who's doing the the Godzilla show on Apple TV Plus.
Monarch. Is it Monarch?
Monarch, yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But he was promoting that, and they asked him, "Where are you with it all?" And he said, "We've cast him.
Really?
We've cast him, and obviously they can't announce anything until they've actually got that sorted." Because you can't be seen to be promoting anything as an actor as well. So unless it was already confirmed before the strike, but chances were they might not, and they want to do it in the best light as well. So it'd be very, very interesting to see how they go about it. I think they might. I don't think they're going to play it safe in any way, shape, or form. He says this is probably one of the most chilled out streams out there. Thank you. Love tuning in on a Tuesday night. That's really nice of you. Thank you, Phil. Good one, Tendon, brother. Yes, James, my brother, about the Batmobile thing. He's been my consigliere with it all. I've been burning his ear with thoughts on it all and stuff. But I agree with you completely, bro. But yeah, so I think they're gonna have to choose a couple of unknowns, and I think they might go with Krasinski and Emily Blunt. But I don't know. What do you guys think on this? If you were to choose, I mean, Peter, you're the comic book expert here. If you were to cast, and you had a limited budget, who would you cast as Mr. Fantastic?
Oh God, that's such a hard one. I liked him, to be honest. I hope that's not the. I hope Multiverse of Madness and the atrocious film that was at times. I hope that's not the last we see of him, because I thought he was really good in it. Listen, I'm sometimes for these movies, if I'm honest, I don't necessarily want big names. I just want good actors. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think if you look back to Robert Downey Jr. is probably the exception, but at the time when he was cast, he wasn't doing so well in Hollywood. Do you know what I mean? He'd had some good films and things out there, but he'd gone through a rough patch and whatnot. So I don't necessarily want the big names for this. I just want people who like the characters themselves, so they're invested in doing a good job, and who can do, you know. For me, the crucial character in all of that is the Human Torch, because you've got to get that kind of jock kind of attitude, and the back and forth with him and Ben Grimm has got to be there. Reed Richards, in reality, if you're following the comic books, should be pretty dull, you know. He should be the straight man, and there's not as much of a worry. But yeah, and I'm just excited to see. Well, am I excited? It'd be interesting to know what you guys think, because I love my Marvel films, but the track record over the last 2 years or so, I really want this film to be good, and it's got us very nervous, if I'm honest. Yeah,
if they do it wrong, that's
yeah.
This
and X-Men. If the ball's up, this and X-Men, that's it. You know,
game over.
You're right.
Game over. Yeah, game over.
I love Fantastic Four. It's like a big childhood thing for me. It's one of my favourites. So I'm looking forward to it. And again, not talking 1/6 scale or that, but this is something I need in my collection, and I properly need that in Doctor Doom, and the cliche Silver Surfer. That's a big thing for me. I need good ones for this. I think Chris Evans. I liked the original, going back to that original movie. I liked the cast.
Yeah, me too.
And Chris Evans was fantastic as the Human Torch.
He was
to a T. So, you know, I would love. I don't know who else could get to do that, but I'm not going to put names in. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't like the last outing of Fantastic Four.
No, that was a mess.
That was poor. The casting, the whole lot.
It had some good body horror in it, but that was about it. Do you know what I mean? There was a couple of scenes which were pretty rough. But going back to Chris Evans, it would be an absolute crime if we didn't see him as Human Torch in Secret Wars. If you're going to have all these characters dipping in, you know, just give us a 5-minute scene
with his original hairline.
Yeah.
Because he had a widow's peak, didn't he, for the longest time? And suddenly he's got hair. What's going on here? Funny Dunlop says, "I'd love it if Krasinski, but I can't see it now. No Blunt, to be honest. I think because obviously John Krasinski's done a lot with the Quiet Place franchise and directing, and he's done a very good job. I like those films, and I think if he was offered directing, he would have done that as well. I think he'd have done the two. I think he'd have signed on for that. But yeah,
I think the thing for me, and again, I know Ian, you're a big Fantastic Four fan. I can't speak, right? Krasinski. He's too nice of a man. Do you know what I mean? I like him. Reed Richards should be a little bit more detached. So I know they were talking for a while about Adam Driver. Now, I could actually see him as quite a cold character at points. You know, Reed Richards, has got a massive heart, but he's such an intellectual, he can't communicate with people, you know? And I think Adam Driver could maybe pull that off. I think that would be an interesting...
Well, there were rumours for him to be Doctor Doom, but I don't think he'd do it because obviously it's so similar to like kind of Kylo with the helmet thing and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of people in the chat saying a couple of things. James T says, hey buddy.
Heyo.
Funny Dunlop says, hopefully the Red Sonja film gets distributed and be out quite soon. It's all filmed and waiting to go. Don't know anything about that. Who's playing Red Sonja? Do you know?
Fuzzy mentioned this on a show we were on the other day. I think was it at a Comic-Con it was mentioned, Fuzzy. Remind us in the chat. But it's ages since we've had a good barbarian kind of Red Sonja / Conan type movie. I would all be behind that. I'd love to see that.
I wasn't mad at the Jason Momoa Conan. I quite like that back in the day. Was that like 2010?
Yeah, it was a good while ago. Yeah.
A while ago. It's when he didn't have the beard. Yeah. So yeah, Empire Strikes says Taron Egerton. I think Taron Egerton could be very good for the Human Torch, or I think he'd be good Wolverine. To be honest, he's bloody brilliant. 6 scale Padawan says evening all. Hey buddy, Adam Driver gets mentioned a lot for Reed. And everyone's saying hello to each other. So I just thought it was worth mentioning. But yeah, if you can let us know on that, Fuzzy. That'd be interesting because we need like a Conan. I mean, I really wanted the King Conan film they were going to do with Arnie back in the day. I would have loved that.
That would have been tremendous. We were talking about it. I think Fuzzy brought it up on the show because we were talking about old childhood cartoons on my Saturday show, and we're saying it's a crime that they've not done more with the He-Man or She-Ra property. We've not had a live-action movie. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's because they're just chuffing balls of it up over in Netflix. They did 2 different shows. They killed He-Man within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. A live-action movie would be
horrendous.
Was horrendous. The styling of it though was so perfect. Yeah. It looked amazing.
I didn't mind it, and I didn't mind the updated version as well. The kind of was it called Masters of the Universe? The one with the kind of the more animated. Yeah. I can't remember what it was called, but I didn't mind that one either. But I'll like anything He-Man. Do you know what I mean? It's my wheelhouse.
Who the hell is this? Matilda Anna Ingrid Lutz is the lead. Imagine putting that on a poster. Rhonda Mistra and bloody hell, I don't know any of them. Let me have a little look.
But we're saying it's a long time. Whilst Richard's looking at a long time since we've had like a Conan kind of successful movie or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
Michael Bisping, that's the ex-UFC fighter, isn't it?
Yeah,
English actor, UFC fighter, I think.
Matilda Lewis. Oh, okay. Italian model and actress. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's have a look. I'll show you. Let me show you my screen.
Was it Arnie's wife that played Red Sonja?
No, it was Sly's wife. Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Nielsen,
Yeah, this one here. I think this is fan made. Yeah. Oh no, it isn't. Millennium Media. No, that's it. Looks like a promo picture. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I recognise her face.
Yeah. It's Yeah, but Bridget Nielsen, who obviously played it before, I thought she was pretty good actually. To be fair, obviously she was in Rocky IV as well as Drago's Mrs. Squeeze in it as well. Because there's something inappropriate then in that. Because I know something about it. Never mind. Anyway, so next thing we're going to talk about is, I don't know if you guys have seen or heard about this, Masters of the Air. So this is, Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks, they did Band of Brothers, they did the Pacific, and they are doing this show. This time it's going to be for Apple TV, and it's Masters of the Air, starring one of my favorite actors, Austin Butler, who obviously was Oscar nominated for Elvis. And it's a true story of the 100th Bomb Squad. Basically took the fight to Nazi Germany, and it's all the stories behind that, and it's going to be very, very interesting. It's got a new date, which is the 26th of January next year. It's supposed to be released this year, but obviously got pushed back due to the strike. But it's looking great. There's going to be a trailer, no doubt, dropping very soon. I love everything about this so far. It's just like the aesthetic of it. I think this time period anyway is just so, if they do it right and they put the right money behind it and they've got Cary Fukunaga, who did a lot of True Detective, and he directed No Time to Die. He directed the first 5 episodes of this as well. There's like a 10-episode series, so it's got some pedigree people behind it. So I just thought it was worth mentioning. I'll give you a little synopsis if you like, if you guys haven't seen much about it. But basically, long story short, oh no, I haven't taken this one up. Anyway, basically, it's the new World War II show about this battalion of pilots. So it'll be really, really interesting. And with the budget of Apple behind him as well, they don't mess about with stuff like this. And obviously you got Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg behind it as well. It's a bit of a no-brainer. So I just thought, you guys have seen this. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm excited for this. It's right up my street. Again, Apple just seem to be delivering on so much just now. Yeah, the right cast, right people behind it. I'd be surprised if this doesn't, if it's not on point. Again, just Apple, I've been so impressed by what they've been producing or supporting lately. But
real quality, quality. And the fact they've got like The Killers of the Flower Moon, that's going to be hitting Apple TV. I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks after it hits the cinema. That's coming out. We've got Napoleon coming out soon.
Looks good.
They're releasing these things that they wouldn't traditionally be made anywhere else, really, apart from like HBO. But it's really going to be really, really interesting to see how they then go on with future properties and franchises if they do then acquire other licenses, for example, like Disney or anything. What kind of money they'd put behind that would be very interesting.
See, that's what makes me interested around the rumours around Disney, right? I just think about what Apple's done lately and what they could do with that franchise and Star Wars, i.e. give us really good writers.
Whatever happened to Harry Connick Jr.? Yeah, because he was in Memphis Belle. He's still singing. He's still doing his own. He hasn't aged badly. I think he's just sticking to his singing. But I think he was pretty good in that in Memphis Belle. It's Peter. Obviously, you had a look at this. I mean, there's not a lot with it, but they did a promotion where they released quite a few photos.
It's interesting you're saying that. So I wasn't aware of this until you sent it. So I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys, but I'm ex-RAF Reserve, so this is right up my wheelhouse. You know, I'm all over this. It looks phenomenal. But when I Googled it on YouTube, I got the trailer. And I watched the trailer and I thought, what the holy shit is this? Because it looked mental. You know, there was crossovers between this era's aircraft, and then there was a Tornado flying vertically, and there was a Harrier jump jet. And I thought, what the hell? And then at the very end, it said, this is the fan-made piece of shit. And I thought, how are you, man? Do you know what I mean? But so then I went back and read the proper articles on this and looked at the stills and things like that. This will be, I mean, Band of Brothers is one of my all-time favourites. This will be phenomenal. I cannot wait for this. I'm excited for this one.
It's going to be amazing. They've got Barry Keoghan, who was obviously Oscar nominated as well. He did for Banshees of Inisherin. He was in that, but obviously he's playing the Joker as well for like the Batman franchise. Sawyer Spielberg, wonder how he got that job. Alan Turner, Raph Law. And they've got the new Doctor Who as well. I can't pronounce his name. Nuki Gatwa. He's in that as well. So there's quite a big cast. On Google. But yeah, so there's a lot of big cast and a lot of money behind it. So I'm really happy that they're doing this, and it's going to be brilliant. Said Austin Butler's one of my favorites anyway. Honestly, he's going to be like the next Leo in terms of like pedigree actor. The amount of effort and time he puts into his work and passion. He's got the Bite Riders. He's got this. He's got Dune 2 coming out because he's playing the bad guy in that. It's going to be... He's going to absolutely kill it. And that's all from what he's done with Elvis. So really happy about his career with that. Also, we have a trailer for... I sent it you guys earlier, but for Lawman Bass Reeves. So... This is come from the very amazing mind of Taylor Sheridan, who does Yellowstone. It's a true story of this is David Aileo, who is chronicled the tale of the first black deputy U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi River. The series aims to bring forth the legendary American hero who made some 3,000 arrests in his time, keeping the peace in his territory, which is pretty cool. The trailer's really good. It's got Donald Sutherland in it. It's got Dennis Quaid in it as well. Yeah, he's great. It looks brilliant. The trailer's just dropped for this. This series is going to come out on Paramount Plus, which is one of my favorite streaming services because it's got all of Yellowstone on there, and it's got 1883 and 1923 and all that kind of stuff like that, and obviously Mission Impossibles and a lot of the Tom Cruise stuff on there as well. So big fan of Paramount Plus. You guys saw the trailer. What did you think to this, Ian?
Yeah, so I actually know a bit about this character. I watched about 4 years ago. I think it's on the History Channel, the true story of Bass Reeves, and it was really interesting. Bring that about. And somebody had said on it that they believe that it inspired the Lone Ranger because the way it comes in, and he's born in slavery, and then how he came through with the Native Americans, etc. So you add that on. This whole Western and Civil War is a real favourite genre of mine. So I'm interested in this big time. And then when you add on Taylor Sheridan, which I'm a massive fan, that I'm excited for this. I think the casting looks great. The little bits that I've seen so far, it just looks on point. So yeah, I'm excited. Looks good.
Yeah, me and you both, we share the passion of Western as well, and I'm really looking forward to this myself. Peter, what do you think?
So I enjoy a Western, not as much as you guys, because I know you've talked about it before, but I do like a Western movie. I'd never heard of this guy, so when you sent us the trailer, I went in completely blind. I'm a big fan of stuff based on truth. Do you know what I mean? I love a story if it's got some shred of reality in it and whatnot. So going in unknown and just watching the trailer absolutely blew us away. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought the acting looked amazing. The action looked. I'm a simple man. I like a good story and I like action. Do you know what I mean? I like a good fight, Barney. And it looked like it's got that in spades, and then I have to say, Dennis Quaid, one of my favourite actors. I don't think he gets anywhere near enough work. So as soon as I saw his name and then he appeared at the end, I just thought, this is a one that I will definitely be watching. And interestingly, I messaged my dad straight away because my dad loves Westerns, but he gets very bored quickly. My dad likes a bit of bloodshed straight away. So I said, watch this trailer, see what you think. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll watch that. That looks good. Like,
oh, that's great. Yeah. It's great that your dad watches the videos that you send him. Mine never do. Hey, watch this. Watch Sopranos. Yes, son. We'll have a look at that, son. Yeah, we'll have a look at that. Oh, yeah, of course you will. Fuzzy Dunlop says Taylor Sheridan has penned some amazing films recently. Yes, he has. Hello, High Water, Sicario. He's done some amazing stuff. Obviously, the Yellowstone franchise as well. He's done amazing work behind that and the world behind that as well. And he's just done some fantastic stuff. Did you guys get a chance to pick up that Lioness I mentioned to you before?
Not yet. No, I've not seen that one yet.
It's definitely worth your time. It's well worth your time. Have you watched all the Yellowstone, Ian?
Oh yeah, I've watched everything. Okay. So I'm 1883, the whole thing around it, and I was rewatching Yellowstone through again, just going through.
Nice.
But I'm parking that just now because it's obviously delayed. Coming back, so I'll time it just to lead in. But I love that. I love it's not just the story of the world that Taylor Sheridan does. I know it's a bit cliche, it's a bit avant-garde just now talking about character development, but by God, does he do that well?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
He's amazing at that.
Mm-hmm. What? Because he was an actor before. and he tried his best to make it, and then he ended up not getting much work. He was in Sons of Anarchy a couple of times, and then he used that paycheck to then write Sicario, and then he wrote Sicario, and then he managed to like snowball from that point onwards. So he's done incredible work, and he's just what a talent, what an absolute talent, what he's done. So Peter, while you're off, get your finger out and get on Yellowstone. I'm
going to watch Gen V tomorrow, hopefully get that signed off, and then I'm going to watch Yellowstone, give that a few episodes. I think start at the normal series, Yellowstone.
I think watch the first 2 episodes of because they're it's a part 1 and a part 2. First 2 episodes of Yellowstone. Get those first. If they bite you, then fantastic. Get on it. But also 1883 is essentially like a big 10-hour film. Yeah. It's broken over episodes, which is absolutely stunning as well. Yeah, so stunning. Yeah. You can watch it isolated from everything else, but I would say Yellowstone for you to get on. I think the missus will like it as well because mine does. She really enjoys it as well. We enjoy watching it together. We're actually thinking about doing what you've done later as well, Ian. Just basically going back to it and starting from the beginning and getting onto it again. Also within the Western genre, we have Kevin Costner's dream project, Horizon, an American Saga. So they released a very brief trailer teaser for this. They're going to be releasing 2 chapters, chapter 1, 28th of June, and then chapter 2, August the 16th, directed by Kevin Costner. Co-written by Costner as well. It chronicles a multifaceted 15-year span of pre- and post-Civil War expansion and the settlement of the American West. And it looks really, really good. I recently watched Dancing with Wolves and bloody love that film. And obviously he had his ups and downs with his career, and he's had a massive resurgence of late due to Yellowstone as well, because he's the lead in that. So it's just what he does in Yellowstone. If he's putting something that level of energy into a film like this, so something that's his massive passion project, it's going to be an absolute win. This could have Oscars written all over it. You guys, did you see it? Did you see the trailer that sent you?
And I think if I'm remembering rightly on this one, the cast list read like a who's who of Hollywood. It was just obscene. It was So again, one I'm looking forward to. Kevin Costner must be a decent age now, I would have thought.
He's in his 60s. He is 68.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought he was older than that. Jeez.
No.
Looks. I mean, the little teaser trailer didn't give much away, did it? But it looks,
no, not at all.
You kind of, like you say, you have epic written all over this, I think. And I love the idea of having a part 1 and a part 2 so close together.
I love that.
Because I forget what's happened if I'm waiting a year. Do you know what I mean, or whatever? So I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, we've got it's Kevin Costner, Sienna Miller, Michael Rooker, Luke Wilson, Giovanni Zabitzi, Will Patton, Danny Houston, Angus McFadden, who played Robert the Bruce in Braveheart, as Sam Worthington as well. So it's a really good cast. I mean, having something like that coming out is it's going to be amazing. What were you going to say? Sorry, on that one. You got any thoughts? I love it. Like what Peter said, I love the idea around that you've got chapter 1, chapter 2 so close. I think considering his involvement in Yellowstone and what Taylor Sheridan's done, I'm sure it's going to brush off in terms of that story development, the characters. Again, I love this. I love the American history. I love the Civil War and the settlement. One of my best friends, and he's no longer with us. He was Native American. Some stories, and it tells you about his history. They fought in the Vietnam War. He was like my engineering mentor in California. So Gene was amazing, right? He's a character. We'll go off in a tangent. He was like 6'4", long white hair when I met him. He used to wear ostrich cowboy boots. He built cars. He actually died racing his Corvette at Reno. But his stories, but
his family and through the Native American thing. So I just love all of that. So I'm all over this. I'm looking forward to it.
And this,
and
the thing is, this stuff. This is only a couple of 100 years ago. That's the thing. Like when you think like that, this is just the beginning of America, and it's just it's just amazing to think that there's all this wealth of just story and everything. And it's going to be amazing. And they were filming this during the actors' strike as well, because what they did was they agreed to a lot of the terms that they'd agreed within the unions. So they carried on filming this. So it's actually bodes well for Yellowstone as well, because he's done this now. This is what he wanted to do. It's been like his absolute dream project. So to do this now, because they want him to work X amount of hours, and he said he wanted to put a lot into this, and there's been a lot of back and forth with that. So this is also a good sign for getting the next season up and running as well. So it's really, really good. Yeah. That was fascinating, though, what you said there with your friend. So sorry about your friend who obviously passed, but that story that there, I was like, bloody hell, you have to tell me more about that later. So I just thought, so stuff like that, which is really, really interesting. What's coming up? It's kind of like that old Hollywood kind of stuff. Something that's really near and dear to my heart as well is Michael Mann is doing the press tour at the minute. He's doing Ferrari with Adam Driver. And he wrote a book of the sequel for Heat 2. It's kind of it's a prequel and a sequel. So basically, a lot of the characters in the early 80s, and then what they ended up being further on in the future, post the first film. So Michael Mann was saying basically the next film he does is Heat 2, which will be amazing. I love Heat so much. I think it's just an absolute classic.
Am I on the right film? Is Heat the one with Kilmer and Pacino? Is that
Kilmer, De Niro, Pacino.
And De Niro.
Yeah.
God, years since I've seen that.
Yeah. It's an absolute classic. I'm gonna have to see if I can get away with playing this. Right. If I can get to play, right? Okay, right. Get ready to laugh. Okay, right. One sec. This is an absolute classic moment in this film. Can you hear it? One second.
Oh yeah.
Great ass, and you got your head all the way up it.
I love Pacino. Honestly,
that is such classic Pacino, right? It's classic. It's like Devil's Advocate. He does that same thing.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
He is, right?
He's
that's a great film.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a great film. It was actually playing our stream straight after that, which is quite funny. That's why we were on Echo. Yeah. But what a classic. I just had to laugh at that because that's always a classic. So he said the next film's going to be Heat 2 that he does. Michael Mann's obviously a great director. He's done some amazing work. He wrote this a few years back. It's #1 bestseller. He said in an interview he thinks that Adam Driver could very well be a young De Niro, which could very much work. He looks a bit like him, to be fair. And obviously he's a fantastic actor. Rumours that my mate Austin Butler might be the young Val Kilmer. So there's a couple of really good thoughts on that as to how they're going to go about it, because it's going to be like it's basically a couple of cases going to be. I think it's set around the 80s. I'll double check because I wrote this down. Serves as both a prequel and a sequel to the first film. It basically follows years leading up to the LA set crime drama, and it's about basically the US-Mexican border in Chicago, about rising star police department and surviving. What does it say now? Oh yeah, there's a high line of. 1 second. So it's like these big crimes that are like intruders and stuff like that. So people are robbing like a number of wealthy people, and it's quite a it could be really, really interesting. So yeah, I just thought it was like quite a good one.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch Heat because I can't.
It's on
one
Netflix.
of those ones. It's one of those ones that I know I've seen back in the day. Because that must have been what, early 80s was it? It came out or later?
No, not 90s.
No,
Is it 90s?
90s. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I remember seeing it at the time, but I can't remember much about it.
It's a classic. 1995 it came out. Yeah, it's. I take it you've seen it, Ian. Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I love Heat. I don't know anything about Heat 2. I did have a quick look up about this and just seen what's what, but it looks like De Niro and Pacino's kind of there in the cast, maybe potentially.
Oh, wow.
But if it's post or I don't know, but I know nothing about what this is, but I'm excited because I love Heat. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do with it. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. Some old school films coming back, some of that kind of old Hollywood stuff which I love. Devil's Advocate, that's a blast from the past. That's from Heat, that bit there. But Absentee Landlord. That's what he says on Devil's Advocate. Great film. Something completely different. Love it. 95 it was. He was actually a remake of previous Man TV show called LA Takedown. Yes, it was. Yes, thank you for that. So Michael Mann also wrote Miami Vice as well. Right. Obviously he then made it a film with Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell, but he originally did that. So back in the day, so he's got some pedigree. Right. Next bit, got ourselves a couple of rumours for the Batman 2. Now, there are saying the next film will focus a lot on identity, and what they're doing with that is, so at the end of the films, I adored the Batman. It's one of my all-time favourite films. He started to realise that he couldn't just solve all of Gotham's problems by just being Batman or Vengeance. So instead, he knows that he would have to be something more, and that something more is be Bruce Wayne as well. And hence why there was a lot of criticism for the people with the first film saying, oh, he wasn't very playboy and all that kind of stuff like that. This was before he gets to that point, before he realizes he has to be that way to kind of put a bit of a sheen to he would never be the Batman. He's someone who can be a bit of a playboy and help a lot with the charities and all that kind of good stuff like that. So it's quite interesting. And there are two big rumors, one of which is Clayface, might be the bad guy, or Hush. Now, Ian, do you know about Hush? Did you read the comic?
Yeah, I know a bit about it, but I've not heard any rumours of the stuff that I'm detached from, so I don't know
it's okay. It's just so basically, no, I was only asking because I know Peter will have done on the Hush side. So Hush, for anyone who doesn't know, it's an amazing run of comics that you can get on graphic novel. It's a famous one, where basically he is Batman's equal in a lot of ways, and he knows who Batman is as well. So all the way through the comic run, you kind of, is it this person? Is it that person? You're constantly second guessing as to who the villain is. They did recently do this run as a animated film and ballsed it up. They really did, because the person at the end was not the person it is in the comics. He ended up being the Riddler, which is weird. But yeah, so there are rumors that it's either going to be Hush or Clayface. It'd be very, very interesting to see how they do it, because I think a lot of Hush's backstory is tied to the Wayne family, and that's what they did with the Riddler the last time, where he was exposing what was happening with the basically Thomas Wayne and what he did to protect his wife and all this kind of stuff like that. So there's a lot of interesting things there, and then they're going to the side where it could be quite, it could look silly on camera in the kind of the world of the Batman having someone like Clayface, or they could do it as a basic serial killer who basically molds his face to look like somebody else. So I just thought it was quite interesting. There are a couple of rumors that are saying this. Peter, what do you think? If you had the choice of these two, what would you choose?
It's a hard one, because I'll be honest, I'm not that interested in seeing either of these on screen. I think Hush is a really interesting story, but it's quite complicated. And I think it's too early to play out Hush. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. So.
Clayface, you're absolutely right. We've not really had how can I put it? We've not really had an over-the-top superhero-y kind of Batman for a while. We're more grounded. So the proper Clayface wouldn't work. It would have to be someone who's a master of disguise kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
an actor or something like
you're not
that.
going to get the big mud monster kind of thing, you know? I'd be much more interested in either a Mr. Freeze movie. I think you could do that really well in this universe. A Court of Owls, I think, would be tremendous. You know, you could really lean heavily into the fact that Gotham's corrupt from the inside kind of thing. That would be cool. If you just want a mad serial killer, there's a character, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, called Professor Pig, who is just horrific. He's basically a fat butcher who wears a pig's head on his head self. And goes around slaughtering people. But that would play really well in this universe. Just do it as a proper psycho. Do you know what I mean? Nothing fancy, just a murderer, you know?
Who's the other one that's very similar to that? There's
Mr. Zaz. I think. Yeah,
Zaz.
He's very cool as well.
Yeah, he's a bit intense as well, isn't he? Yeah, no, I think that the Heart of Ice kind of story could be quite good as well. That would be amazing. There was something.
The mutant leader as well. Would that fit in this?
Yeah, but that's like way in the future. That's so further on down the line. That would be very interesting. Calendar Man, that'd be good as well, Phil.
Calendar Man,
yeah. That'd be interesting. Having someone like that. I was actually thinking about that with the mutant leader of late. Actually, I was thinking about that scene where it's like, you're on the operating table now, basically. And I'm the doctor, I'm the surgeon, and just basically apart. It's just amazing. What were you going to say? Sorry.
How would it, the way the Batman ended though, right, with the Riddler and the Joker? To me, that was setting something else up. So, how do they bring that in?
Well, I think they're in jail at the moment. I think that could be something maybe for a third. I think because what they did with Batman Begins and then do Joker, they can't really do the same thing again where they have the second film being Joker. I think what they're doing with the Penguin TV show, that they've had to put on hiatus for a little bit until this strike finishes. But basically, when Gotham was flooded, basically Penguin has to pick up a lot of the Falcone family mafia group and basically start to run that side of Gotham. So I think there's going to be a lot of splinter groups forming within that as well. So there's interesting stuff there.
I agree, and I really hope they don't just quickly move on from that. So the end of that last movie, I'm not a massive fan of the last movie, I have to say, but the end of the movie with the Gotham with the bridges being blown up and the city flooded and stuff, which is the exact lead into a tremendous set of stories called Cataclysm and then No Man's Land. And No Man's Land was a year-long story where basically Gotham's cut off from the rest of the world, and it's like the police are vigilantes trying to maintain order and the criminals are running rampant. I would love to see that on the big screen. We had a version of it in the Gotham TV show, but a kind of a movie where it's just anarchy. There's fighting on the streets and the Batman's trying to maintain some degree of order would be superb.
It'll be unbelievable. What wasn't one group the Riddler and then one group was Joker, and then I haven't read the whole thing.
You had Two-Face in the Hall of Justice. He'd taken over the courts, and he was basically just flicking the coin and killing anybody that came into the courts and stuff. And it's a really interesting story.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was going to say that moment in the film when he just blow those flood defenses, I was like, my God, I just did not expect that to go the way it did. I bloody love that film. I only kicked you out on joking. Sorry, I keep doing that. But yeah, I'm really. I've got a lot of faith in this franchise. Anyway, I bloody love it. I think they did an amazing job with that. Matt Reeves does an amazing job. He said he would really like to do a Court of Owls or Mr. Freeze. I think a Mr. Freeze would be amazing. There was something in the comics. I don't know if you can kind of jump on this, Peter, but there was. So all the way through, Mr. Freeze was blaming Batman because he killed. Well, he basically stopped the program, etc., to keep his wife alive. The experimental program, and it in one of the comics that he's basically mad, and that was just a random woman, and it wasn't his wife.
Yeah.
So there's like little twists like that. It's like they could do some really interesting stuff there.
I think to try and keep the characters interesting, they've reinvented a lot of them numerous times. And Mr. Freeze, you're right. There was a couple of tales where I think he took her to like the frozen river or something. She drowned and things, and it wasn't his wife at all. And all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's so. Do you know what? There's so many incredibly cool Batman characters outside of Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, Penguin. Do you know what I mean? Give us some, instead of rehashing the same villains every few movies. Give us something different. I'm happy if we don't see Joker for a couple more movies. You know?
I am. I agree, 100%. I think those cards are being played a lot, and I think we've got Joaquin as well still in the zeitgeist, and I think having this one as well. I think the way they did it. Have you seen the deleted scene where he goes and he takes the pictures of the Riddler and the case, and he's looking through it and stuff? They've got that history. And I like that. That's the kind of Hannibal Lecter kind of relationship with Clarice. I like that kind of back and forth.
Yeah,
I'd much prefer it if they were like that the whole time, and until a lot later on where Joker like breaks out or whatever. But I think having something like that relationship is more effective, and having these characters. What they did with Riddler, let's be fair, he was a laughing stock in terms of what he did in like Jim Carrey's portrayal and stuff, but like he made him menacing in that film. So I think they can do that again with something like that.
If we're going to get, a trilogy or a couple of trilogies or whatever, I would absolutely love to see a slow tease of Joker, like you say, building on the fact that they've known each other and he's caught him and he's in jail or whatever, and then round off the Patterson era and give her a proper version of the Killing Joke. Give her a live stream Killing Joke. And just end it like the comic ends with just the black, ambiguous end. I would, because I've never seen that portrayed on live screen. It
wasn't very well done on the animated.
No,
version,
it wasn't.
To be honest.
It wasn't.
No,
there was some weird bits in that. It was bizarre.
Yeah, the whole Batgirl thing. That was
totally odd.
Yeah, that was very odd. Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know about that one, they basically introduced a relationship, a whole subplot for Batgirl. And then she ended up having a relationship with Bruce. And it was just all this other stuff that was like separate to the actual Killing Joke story, which was just didn't make any sense to me at all. Oh, my good wife. Thank you very much, baby. Thank you. Hello. Thank you. Mike says, would the third one be good? Using the Arkham, storyline, Batman infiltrating Arkham to get to the Joker.
Mark is spot on there, because the Batman for me is most effective and most menacing when you don't see him, when he's in the shadows and he's just dropping down and stuff like that. And the Arkham games do that phenomenally, hanging in the rafters and things and just dropping and picking people up and stuff. And that's the kind of stuff I want to see more than him standing having a fist fight with 5 people.
I agree. Did you ever play the Batman Begins game?
Yeah, I did.
That was amazing, where you had to basically fill up the fear level. So basically start throwing stuff in the distance, them getting freaked out, and then you could take them out one by one. That was really interesting. I'd love for that to get remade, actually. But I agree. They did something where they were talking about that for one of the ideas for Ben Affleck's Batman film. Obviously, there's the one which I told you about before, which was the Deathstroke one. And also there's an idea of they were going to do like an Arkham one where basically he would be trapped in Arkham, and they're basically very similar to the Arkham game, but that could have been amazing as well. Yeah, I think I would love to see that in live action. But yeah, good shout on that, Mark. Thank you very much. So yeah, next bit of a little bit of news. We already had that one. Ahsoka. So first thing, so everyone ready? At the moment, a couple of people are going to be triggered on this. Please don't. We're all friends here. Let's calm down. So, like, we're all going to be honest. Let's not hold anything back. And there's going to be people who've talked about this to death in the last week or so. So I'm not expecting everybody to be on board with this. But we're going to have a chat about Ahsoka. First things first. Ahsoka Season 2 in conversations, but nothing locked yet. So this is according to Deadline. Deadline here that Ahsoka Season 2, more of a reality in the conversation, though it's not locked in yet. No place Kaz teasing Ahsoka would return in the immediate future. And obviously with the strikes, that doesn't help either. But as you can see there, Thrawn looking very happy about Season 2 not happening. So what, right, I'm going to let you guys tell me what you guys think, and then we'll have a conversation about it, and I'll tell you what I think. Please do not hold back. None of this 8.5 shit. I want you to tell me, Ian, what you truly think.
Let's start with Peter first, because I do talk about this quite a lot elsewhere. So if that's okay, I'll let Peter jump in, and then I'll unload.
So I went into Ahsoka with no expectation because I haven't seen Clone Wars. I haven't seen what's the other one called?
Rebels,
things like that. So I didn't know any of these characters aside from Ahsoka. Haven't been in Mandalorian stuff. I'd had it bigged up massively by a good friend of mine who I went to Star Wars Celebration, James Keegan, because he's a huge Thrawn fan, right. Massive fan of him. And when he was announced, he went mental. It's going to be the best thing ever and all the rest of it. So, first couple of episodes, I have to say, absolutely loved. It was new to us. I enjoyed the characters. I fell in love immediately with some of the characters. I thought the banter between them was good. I liked Chopper and all the rest of it. Then it started to wane a little bit. Then we got the episode with the phenomenal kind of Hayden Christian bit. These bits and stuff. The battles were tremendous. Was that episode 4 or 5? I think, I can't remember. It was kind of a midway point when Ahsoka died and we saw the flashbacks to the Clone Wars and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was
4. I think.
I thought that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, same.
And then I don't know what happened, but things started to irritate us, and stuff that I probably would have thought was charming beforehand started to get on my nerves. Chopper started to get on my nerves. Some of the acting wasn't the best. Some of the special effects weren't the best. Thrawn didn't out for us, if I'm being really honest. He was just kind of there. I didn't get big bad kind of menacing vibes from him. I did a little bit on the last episode, but he wasn't what I was expecting.
No.
The relationship between Ezra, who they went to rescue, just fell flat on its arse for me. It was just nout. Nobody seemed really care. I don't know. And I just kind of felt by the end of it a little bit flat and a little bit numb, if I'm honest. The last episode was okay. There was a bit of decent fighting in it. I think my problem is by the end of the episode, I just didn't really care about any of the characters particularly. Thrawn might be interesting in the future. I did like on the last episode, I started to feel a little bit of that kind of overarching maniacal vibe, I suppose, but nothing overt. I did like I've forgotten the gentleman's name who sadly passed away. Balin. I liked Ray Stevenson. Ray Stevenson. I liked Balin, but that last episode, I felt totally lost by the end. I felt like I didn't know what. So I had kind of at the end of the fight, zombie stormtroopers. Not sure what happened there, but at the end of the fight, we suddenly had kind of like Balin looking at a rock. Didn't out for us. We had Thrawn landing or getting near a planet. I don't know what the significance of that was. It felt like all of a sudden there was a lot of stuff that I should have known that might have paid off if I'd seen the other shows, but I didn't. So sorry, long ramble, basically flat for me.
Well put. Well put.
Yeah.
Ian, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Yeah. So for me, overall, I mean, generally, I enjoyed it, but there's so many flaws that. Okay, so for me, the biggest thing I've said a few times, I know the story and I'm a big fan of Heir of the Empire. So I was looking forward to this and I was keen on how Filoni and co were going to join the dots up to The Force Awakens. So overall, it was rushed. So I feel that's the biggest thing for me. It was rushed. The dialogue we've talked about was very ping pong. It was ludicrous writing in some cases. Very little character development in it. Those were the big things. But you want to know, I'll talk on the negative side. The big bugbear for me. Hold on, I think there's somebody going to deliver something for me because they heard me talking about Ahsoka. So hold on.
Hi, Lucy.
You need a drink to talk about Ahsoka.
Thank you. Yes, so it was the daughter Layla. So as soon as they hear Ahsoka, they went, "Oh, we better get him a drink." So yeah, so overall, the thing that bugs me, and it goes back to my background around, big in martial arts, there's a lot of things early on, and this is nitpicky, right? But it means something to me. So I ask everybody, go back and watch the last episode, if you can, when Sabine goes back to get Ahsoka, right? Mm-hmm. There's one, so when you make a big effort of an action scene, it has to be on point. If that's the big bit that you're telling a story on, it has to be on point. Sabine's not a trained martial artist or anything like that. It's not like, Phantom Menace and you've got Darth Maul, right? He's phenomenal. So she goes between one trooper and another trooper. The distance between one and the other is big, so you either need to move quick or the way you film it, she had a step and it was clumsy. It was embarrassing. Go back and watch it and you'll see what I'm saying. What they should have done was either fix it there with the choreography or post-editing and make it tighter in the frame. Yeah. So you don't see that clumsiness that's here. So there's a few things on the show that really bugged me around that. It felt cheap to me. And that's the little things that can make a difference for me. So the big things, the story, the dialogue, the script. For me, going forward, I'm still excited where we're going, but I'm behind Filoni and Favreau, but get good writers in, please, because it is very animated, the way that's written. It's almost like, to me, the script was written for an animation, and somebody thought, hey, let's make this a live action, and they haven't changed the script. Yeah.
I agree.
So that's what bugged me about it. I feel peeved off because there's a missed opportunity. I'm right behind on Thrawn and that whole arc. I feel it was rushed. It feels to me that it should have been a better constructed Rebels live action story leading in with a Ahsoka movie and then leading more into this potentially Heir of the Empire. I don't know where it's all going, but that's what I would have preferred. There's a lot of flaws. That said, I'm glad that we've got it rather than we've not had this, to be honest. But it's funny that I'll not go... I did say that I'd go back and watch it all and try and, give it an overall rating. I thought I was going to do it this weekend, and I just didn't muster up the energy to do it. I'll wait a while and see. But there was some bits on, especially episode 7, the action scene with Ezra and Sabine. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That kind of thing. But generally, I still enjoyed it. I'm trying, being positive because I'm really behind this. But please, going forward, please, please, please give us good writers. There's a difference from vision and writing. So Filoni's vision is one thing. Get good writers in to build that, because I don't think he's great at that.
No. Well, thank you for both of your thoughts. I thought they were very concise and very well put and thought through. For me, I thought this was a mess. I think the return of Thrawn and Ezra, I think this is the long-winded prison exchange I've ever seen. Because that's basically what happened. If you were to say what happened in this show, Ezra came back, Ahsoka went into the other galaxy, and Thrawn came back. That's basically what you can say, because that's it. Thrawn posed no threat. If he's such a badass, which he is in the books, I haven't read them, but I understand that is the case, and what he has been previously in Rebels. The fact is, it was one ship with a lot of turtle people underneath them. If there was such a threat, and they're supposed to be a massive threat to our galaxy, to the Star Wars galaxy, why the fuck didn't they just destroy him straight away? If he's a strategist, if there's all this stuff, why don't they just destroy their ship? Why don't he just absolutely lay waste to them? If Ezra's been on that planet for the last 10 years and he was literally down the road, how come he didn't go after him? What have they been doing all this 10 years? That's Thrawn. I thought he was just all right. I thought he was, it's all going according to plan. It's like anyone can say that if things are going wrong. Do you know what I mean? That's basically what he did the whole time. I think the way he was written, he was supposed to be this absolute genius, but instead he relied way too much on those witches, and is like, oh, well, what do you think to this? What do you think to that? It's like, come on, like, use your own initiative. This is supposed to be his thing where he's so brilliant that he's 5 steps ahead in everybody. It just dispatch 2 TIE fighters, do this. It's like, for fuck's sake. And while you're saying it's rushed, Ian, I think what they could have done is written it more to someone like myself and Peter, who had not religiously seen Rebels and Clone Wars. I'd seen some Clone Wars. I didn't bother with Rebels. And resources were a bit stretched, the damage to do with the fleet. It was one ship. It was one ship with 3 people on it. I think, James, with that one, being honest, straight with you, it's like they had one ship to get rid of. And he had all of that massive ship. He had those women that was with the witches. He had all those stormtroopers and all this kind of stuff like that. I just think it was just clumsily written. I think it was just really silly. I think the dialogue, the way it was written, the fetch quest to get a map, we saw that in Rise of Skywalker. I was with you guys at Star Wars Celebration, and I was there, and I saw the Ahsoka trailer when they first announced it, and it's like, wow, this looks badass. And it really wasn't. It was very meandering. I think the only highlight bit thing for me was episode 4 with obviously Anakin. Yeah, I think they need to be careful not to bring him out too much now. I think they're overplaying that card. I think him being there, less is more. I think what they did with Obi-Wan, I think they did a good job with that. Just a little glimpse of him, and that was it. What they did in episode 4 was stunning. He did not need to be in any further, but obviously they did. I think Rosario Dawson is a fantastic actress. I think she felt like a completely different person compared to what she was like in Mandalorian. I think she felt like completely different. She wasn't charming, likable, the same with the rest of them. I didn't like Ezra. I didn't like Sabine. Yeah. Sabine was thoroughly unlikable, in my opinion. She just was a bit smug the whole time. They have this thing where they write a lot of the characters very stoic, where they're constantly going this all the time, walking around like that, just with the arms folded the whole time, she died and came back as Ahsoka the White, obviously drawing from what they did with Gandalf and stuff like that. But she wasn't any different. She wasn't any different to what she was in the first half of the show. I just thought it was a mess. So Gareth says, "What? So you liked it, Rich?" No, I didn't. I'm just telling you how I feel. I hate putting the boot in, because obviously Star Wars of late have not had the greatest of track records. I think they have rushed this. I think with what they've done with Book of Boba Fett, again, another character who acts completely different to what they were like previously. He was completely different. What they did with Mandalorian season 3, another mess. They've done this, and it's just kind of like, it just seems like they're barking up the wrong tree. And I think throwing in a 3PO, throwing in an Anakin here and there only gets them so far now. And I think what they have to focus on, and it's no way me saying anything about Star Wars as a franchise, I want them to move on now. I want them to move away from, oh, here's your friend Luke Skywalker. Oh, here's this. Let's roll that person in, and Leia and mentions of Leia and all this kind of stuff like that. And the fact that stuff like where, what's her name? The pilot, what's her name? She gets tribunal, and she's all like, oh, well, I didn't take orders. And she did not once mention the fact that 2 people that on her watch died. Yeah. Those X-Wing fighters died because of her. Sabine brought back Thrawn because she was selfish and she wanted to see a friend again. And because of that, whatever happens next is on her. Yeah. There's no ramifications for what they did. It was just like, yeah, we did it. Oh, the gamble paid off then. Well, not at all. Because you've unleashed Thrawn now.
Yeah.
Because she was selfish. And to see somebody that she has not seen in 10 years just to go, sup, like that with each other, that must have been very disappointing for a lot of the fans out there if they were waiting to see those moments of each other. Do you know what I mean?
This is what I mean. I just
10
didn't
years.
get it.
It's like, what
I
the
just
hell?
didn't
No,
get
me
it.
neither.
It was just flat. It was like, all right, man. Do you know?
Yeah, definitely.
See, when I say it's rushed, right? So think about this. Look at A New Hope to Return of the Jedi in that timeline. And then you look at this, you've got Ezra and Thrawn that have been on Lothal for 9 years, 10 years, whatever it is. What have they been doing, right? So you've got Thrawn, a great tactician, you've got this Star Destroyer, you're in a new galaxy. Why are you're an admiral? You know, somebody that should be exploring. So, you know what I mean? There should have been, we're trying to rush getting from this point to tying up things to the sequels that was a mess, rather than taking the time and building something, because from that point, from Return of the Jedi to The Force Awakens, it's huge.
Yeah.
Why
did
they rush
30
this?
years. This is 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
They've got 25
so
years to fully explore from that point onwards.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
I agree. I think that they could have resolved this of Thrawn coming back in a crawl. Somehow Thrawn has returned.
Yeah, he's returned.
They could have done that, and then they could have done the story of Ahsoka trying to get the team together, Ezra, Sabine, all together to then take on, them basically going to that planet to take on Thrawn. They could have done something like that.
Bit of a Rogue One kind of thing.
Quest.
Assemble the crew kind of thing.
Yeah, they did
Although
a fetch quest. It's just ridiculous.
Did give us
I hate all these temples to get a map, and this is how you solve the map.
I don't even understand how the map was there. Who put the map there?
Who put that there? Who put that there? Yeah,
it did give us one of my favourite bits, and I think I messaged you guys that we've had 7 episodes of Sabine trying to master the Force with lots of images of her kind of looking at stuff and now happening. She literally moves the lightsaber once, and then the next breath she says, "Tell you what, mate, who I've missed for 10 years, you jump off a starship and trust us. I'll just give you a bit of a push." And it was like, how really?
Just ridiculous. That stuff like that's just ridiculous. The fact that we had someone, and I know there's a theory of that basically everyone's got the Force some way. But the fact that it took a journey for Luke Skywalker in A New Hope to go from being a farm boy to being a pilot and then literally embracing the Force to take that shot, it took a whole film arc to get to that point. With her, it just took her looking very moody for most of the series, and the last half of the series, really, she started to try to get the Force, and then suddenly she's doing a Rey Skywalker thing where she's plowing a lightsaber into someone's head, and then she's pushing her friend, and it's just gets so silly. It's so silly. I think the balls it up. I think it's a wasted opportunity.
On a positive, I haven't, again, not had any background to this. I did think the sword fight with the witch woman in a fancy glowing sword was cool. And I quite liked the idea of zombie stormtroopers. They were good. I wasn't expecting that, because that's kind of, I've never seen that in Star Wars before. So that was quite interesting. You know, I think it was poorly done, but an interesting element, I thought, to it.
There were good moments in the show as a whole. I just think it was just really badly executed. I think that that Morgan, which is the least Star Wars sounding name, Morgan Elizabeth
Brian.
She's actually a martial artist, and I think her dad or grandfather was trained with one of Bruce Lee's.
All right,
Bruce Lee, Dan and Santo.
That's it. So, so she's got a background. She's trained, obviously trained, but I didn't think her story wasn't played out very well. I think she didn't add anything really to the story. I think obviously,
I was quite glad she got killed actually. So
I think the best she was in it was when she was in that episode of Mandalorian, where she was actually a badass in that. I thought with the staff and stuff with it, when she got the Morgan, proper Welsh name, he says Phil. But I think, I'm sorry if I've offended anybody with this, my thoughts on this, but I do think with Star Wars, they really need to think of how they're going to approach this now, because the people call them member berries. So it's like remember this, remember this. I think that they are going to run out of those eventually, and people are going to get a bit numb to it.
But this isn't unique to Star Wars. This is the same with Marvel at the moment as well.
It's to most things, to be fair. Yeah. But that it's not new. That thing is not new. It's just
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Although Ian, I would say Picard season 3 is very, very strong.
My brother said it's amazing. Yeah. He said the second one was atrocious, but the third one's amazing.
Second one's seriously, Ian. The second series of Picard was probably one of the worst things I've watched after the first 2 episodes. Season 3, just give it a go. It's and see what you think. It's tremendous.
Yeah. But so I'm looking forward to the Thrawn saga, but I just think he needs to be more menacing. If he's best by basically a Jedi and 2 people who've tried it for a bit, I think he's going to be in some real trouble when he actually goes to that galaxy.
We need to see him do something. We need to see him do something horrendous. We need to see him wipe out the planet or something like that to make him feel like a threat.
I really here's the thing: to have owned, like, basically run that planet. To, like, basically he's just decimated it, and everybody's in fear of Thanos, of him, Thrawn. I wanted that. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see some kind of danger behind him, but there was none of that. And I just think it's just disappointing that for someone who was so hyped to do that. And I think you're right what you're saying before about the fact that he might have been an animated idea, and then they thought, well, let's put some money and make it live action. But disappointing.
The thing is with I've watched animation, even with the Thrawn animation's a bit different from what's the Heir of the Empire, but the way it ended on Rebels with the Star Whales and Ezra and Thrawn, he's been taken there to another galaxy on this planet. I wanted to see a struggle, build this and build up this. Okay, he's cool, he's calculating, he's a tactical genius. The art of war style. That's kind of where it came through with him. But there's nothing there, and you can't force people to then watch the animations that have not seen it. You've got to
No.
And I'm not saying you've got to. I've said it a lot. I like the sense of wonderment. That's why I like science fiction. I don't need. It's not like a crime thriller, right? You've got to plug these gaps, but the storytelling is a big thing for that.
Yeah.
And that's where it really fell down. That's you know, for me the biggest thing is honestly it was so rushed. This is a massive story. The timeline itself, as I said, from A New Hope to Return of Jedi, and then from this time what they were trying to do, that's nonsense. So
yeah, I think so too. A lot of people in the chat have been saying a lot of the similar stuff we've been saying, but obviously they're having their opinions as well. And obviously, James, I know you've got your opinions on that as well, which is everyone's well within their right to have theirs. Could we just Balin and Shin? I thought Shin didn't really add very much. She just stared. I didn't think she did anything. I didn't think she was menacing in the slightest. I thought Balin was great. They could have written a bit more about that, about what he wanted to do. I think it was like, you just wait till next season. Too late.
They both just disappeared. They both just disappeared at the last episode. They were gone.
Yeah,
Like,
he was amazing. Like he was obviously the old school iconography of kind of like he was like from the Crusades. He'd got the big armor on. He'd got the broadsword, that kind of thing like that. I think that look that he had was really amazing. I don't think that they did enough with him. Obviously, he bested Ahsoka every time as well. I thought that was nice to see. But yeah, I think to pose some real threat from those two characters. Shin didn't do a hell of a lot, but I think Balin was definitely the shining star. But he was menacing. If you can have someone like Thrawn, he needs to be menacing. He needs to have something behind him. But I think that concludes our Ahsoka talk. So I won't ever think about the show again until they do the film or whatever it is. I won't ever watch an episode of it again. And that's how I know if I like it or not, if I go back to it. Mandalorian first and second season, I've watched a lot of that recently. But it's just everything else has just fallen by the wayside. Obviously, Andor was good, but that was... that was in places. I thought that was kind of long-winded in certain areas, but it actually showed the Empire actually doing some bad, which was nice to see because you didn't really see that in many other. People told me to watch Rebels and Clone Wars. I'm more disappointed if I spent all the time preparing for what clock. Yeah, you know what? Right, imagine giving that homework, watching, because it's not a lot of it is good, but a lot of it's for kids. And doing all that homework and doing all that, spending all that time watching that stuff only to watch Ahsoka and be like, is this it? But I hate the fact that they go, you have to watch all this stuff before you can appreciate this and that. And I think it's disappointing because you have so much time in a show like this to kind of actually put some meat on their characters, and you don't get to see a lot of that with these, I'm afraid. I'll watch back to back to see if I get a different feel. I think that's the problem. I mentioned this a couple of times before, actually, where they are releasing these episodes of Ahsoka and of all these different shows, where it's week to week, which I know they're doing it like that to keep the people engaged. But the problem is, I wasn't one of those dissenting voices on this show where it was like literally up and down roller coaster of opinion, because 1 minute it's amazing, the next minute it's not. I just like to see the thing as a whole at the end of it and just go, what did I think to it? And that finale was atrocious, I thought. Apparently, I feel like I'm not alone on that one either. But I think as a whole, the show was just disappointing, a wasted opportunity. And it's something that I've kind of thought about a lot this year, about a lot of the properties out there about that have come out. I've just been like, they could have done so much with that, and they've wasted that opportunity. And that's true. So I think eventually, if it might be appreciated more if it's watched as a whole, as it binged properly. But I don't think they're going to end up doing that. Apparently, though, that they are going to do that with Echo for Marvel, because apparently it's no good. So they're just
atrocious.
Dump it. Yeah, apparently they're just going to dump it. One thing I didn't mention earlier in the stream was that a lot of the Marvel shows, they are basically delaying quite a few of them definitely a waste opportunity. 100% agree, Phil. So Daredevil's not going to come out till 2025 now, apparently. Agatha's the same. I'm not bothered about Agatha. Ironheart's going to be delayed again. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think her introduction at all in Black Panther Wakanda Forever was very good either, to be honest with you. But yeah, so there's quite a few things that are being delayed, and I think maybe sometimes they're just kind of taking stock a little bit and going, do we need this show? Do we need to make sure it's right before we bring it out? But yeah, so that was the back end of the show, really. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has stuck with us today, engaged in the chat, and said hello. Thank you as always. Quickly tell you about, I don't have any videos coming up yet, but I've got a couple of things that I'm going to be lining up and filming over the next couple of days. So if you can subscribe to the channel, as always, please do so. I am, of course, on Reviews with Rich, which was the show we're watching now, and Reviews_Rich on Instagram. Peter, what do you have coming up on your show?
So I've got a comic unboxing today. It's just come out with 2 CGC books. Tomorrow I'm hoping to get edited my Gentleman of Crime unboxing and review. So that's that Penguin figure, Danny DeVito Penguin, that a lot of you'll have seen got some negativity. So I've unboxed it and looked at it today. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's great. I
amazing.
Really do. Yeah,
oh,
I
good.
really do like
please
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good then.
So it'll be interesting to see what people think of it. On Friday, I've got my comic review show with my friend Efren, Passpoint Comics. And it's interesting what you were saying earlier, Rich, about you doing what you're passionate about more than just doing, the unboxings and things like that.
Yeah.
So I've started a new channel with my good friend James T. Keegan called Sorry, I've forgotten the name of the bloody channel. One Good Scare. Yeah, One Good Scare, which is a horror channel. And we've done a live show and we've filmed a podcast. I don't know what podcasts are, but we've filmed a podcast about Friday the 13th. Thoroughly enjoyed that. That's kind of given us my passion back a little bit. So I'd recommend people go and check that out because it's good fun. Channels.
When you say filmed a podcast, what do you mean?
So I don't understand it. James is the tech guy, so we filmed it on StreamYard. And then James is taking our images away and putting kind of clips of the film and things like that. As we're talking, there's clips of the movie and things like that happening. So you don't see us on screen. You just hear our dialect and you see images and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was great fun. And I really, really enjoyed that. So, yeah, it's good stuff. And then next Monday, we're doing our review of the best Marvel comic books. So lots going on.
Wow. Lots going on. Yeah. Lots going on. Ian, apart from downing a Guinness and
I know it's a bit late. I thought Ahsoka might have went on longer.
No, I didn't want to kick a dog. That's it. I was dumb.
No, for me coming up, obviously I just commit myself to this show and Shane's Hope show this week. Not talking too much 1/6 scale, but I've got to figure out what I'm doing with all my orders that I had with a certain company that I've walked away from. So I'm trying to work that out, and it's actually problematic because there's a couple of figures that are sold out, and trying to sort things, it's a challenge. So that's annoying. But as you guys saw, I had custom bases for my The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, the Preacher. I like my Western, and they look awesome. So that's my highlight after.
That's great.
The fallout that's happening just now with somewhere else, so it's disappointing. I have ordered, again, not jumping on the physical media, I'm a big thing on that, so I'm picking up some deals on some 4K keeping because I've got thoughts about streaming in the future, so it's kind of directly linked to this, but so so I'm kind of looking out for deals and stuff like that. But I don't do reviews and all that good stuff. I did just enjoy chatting movies and all that with you guys, so I appreciate
it. It's a bloody pleasure having you on. One thing I'm going to be doing is doing something quite similar in that vein of the physical media stuff. Is I've started going back to the well of collecting physical media again. I don't know about a lot of people, but there was a point where everything's on streaming now, so I don't need to collect this anymore. So you take it all down to CEX or whatever, and or you sell them off and all this kind of stuff. And I've basically been getting a lot of the classics back. And I'm going to do a video on that as to why, and then maybe have like a long-term thing that you and I can kind of put together as well, if you want, Ian. Kind of that physical media and what it means to us and why it's come about, etc. So I'm going to start doing that, but it's quite interesting. Some of the avenues I have been going to amass a very healthy-looking collection with not very much money. So it's been quite interesting. So I think I'll be putting something together on that. So watch this space as well. You just kind of prompted that. I just completely forgot I was going to mention that. That's really nice. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. We'll have to get you on one week.
That's really I'm trying to make up for I'm slagging my white hair. Remember, right.
We're all We're all due it soon. But I'm getting white temples at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. I'm like Reed Richards. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you're growing your hair, right?
That's what I mean.
There you
go. Yeah, I think there's gonna be no hiding it eventually. I'm just gonna like full on white. I'm gonna have like Gandalf. But Empire Strikes. Phil says I used to have white hair. What does he have now? Is it just for men, or did he shave it off? Oh, okay. Good lad. Yeah, this comes to a certain point.
It's the stress of dealing with Toys Wonderland.
Oh, Jesus. We're starting here, so we're... Right, on that note. But thank you to everybody who has joined our chat today on... There we go. On the chat. The replay. Thank you as always for the support, and thank you to these amazing panel, my friends Ian and Peter. Thanks everybody. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.